So, Neural DSP, Quad Cortex plugins, nameless FORTIN. Is it worth it?
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Yo guys and dolls, welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, if you're old school, we know what we're about by now. What we're going to do today, we're going to run through the FORTIN nameless plugin on the Quad Cortex. So I've downloaded it and I've had a little play. The tune you've just heard was written in a second because it was just so easy to do. I used some of the artist profiles, which I'm going to go through in a sec. And then we're just going to go over to the machine, talk about what it's all about, and have a little deep dive into it while I just riff on some sounds. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to be using the Ibanez Nova today, which is an absolute monster of an axe. It's got currently Fusion Edge pickups in there. And I might swap over to the J Custom, which has got the NAS. No, it's got the NAS Gold. It's got the nail bombs in there just to see what if it makes a difference. I don't think it will. I think I'll maybe just stick with this, to be honest with you. So we're just gonna have a few run through some of the artist profiles, run through how you build a patch, and some of the complaints and compliments I've got for this unit. So let's go straight over to unit view, and then I'll just chug out some stuff as I'm displaying the gear on screen. Let's go do that. So here we are at the unit. So I was currently using this low riff as this was part of the intro. So that was the kind of sound. So this is a preset by one of the artists, which is a guy called John Conern. And then the other riff I was using was wide lead. But what I was doing was I was turning this bad boy on. And I was just giving myself a little bit of that cheeky semitone down. And I left the delay and reverb on for the take because it sounded great. And then another one by him is this wide crunch lead, which again is great. Just take that delay off. Take the reverb off as well. Just sounds absolutely mega. Such a great big fat sound. That is also because of this plug-in doubler, which is great. So if we take that off, it still sounds fair, like proper meaty. Throw that back in though. Delish, truly delicious. So that's just a few of the artist presets, which is what I was using for the intro, of which there are a million. George Lee, well, he's got one metal starting point. So let's see what he's doing with his. Pure crunchy. Right, okay, and then of course we've got my old mate Rabia Masad, who knows how to set up a bloody patch. So I'm assuming Rabia thick gain is going to sound fat as shit. Right, it sounds fucking great. So that guy knows how to set up a preset. So there's Ola England, he's into stuff. So let's go with It Sounds Real. It does sound bloody real. So that's that. And then there's a million other people that I don't know, I haven't heard of, but you know, they're in there. Then what we can go in, we can just go to the Neural DSP, and they just kind of have standard kind of things. So they've got Chugulus, Classic Rock. So let's see, Classic Rock 10. Not a particularly great fan of that. Metal 10. Proper chuggy, really chuggy. So let's see if I can handle a clean tone. So there's an no, these are all chuggy, classic. Clean and ambient. Let's see what this does. So that to me is just your atypical metal amp clean. So they're the settings on the amp for that clean sound. Not particularly the nicest clean I've ever heard. Very scratchy sounded. So I wouldn't really be using this amp for clean tones, I don't think. But yeah, that's that. So a ton of stuff that's in there. All these modern rock radio room. I'm assuming that's kind of like a lo-fi thing. Because lo-fi seems to be the order of the day at the minute. So yeah, some kind of stuff. So your typical kind of preset patches. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Nameless suite, but we're just going to load up a default patch. So this is just what you get from the unit from the get-go. Right, okay, so let's have a little look. So it's set out exactly as it is in the plugin. So you start off and you've got your utility plugin, so it's just a gate. Then you've got your transpose. Then you've got your Zool, which is brilliant. It's one of the best noise gates in the business. Then you've got your FORTIN hex drive. Then you've got your FORTIN grind, which is great for kind of like low tune stuff. Then you've got the amp, which we'll discuss in a sec. Then you've got the speaker, which is the Nameless speaker. It's also in stereo as well, if you want it to be. And you can still change all the mics and change the mic position and all that good stuff. So it still does all of the other typical gear. 9-band graphic EQ. That plug-in doubler I was talking about earlier, which is great. Then we've got your Nameless delay and your Nameless reverb. So we'll have a little listen to those. So first things first, let's just get a tone. So I've got my Zool in there, so I don't need a noise gate. So let's see just what the default sound gives us. I'd be quite happy to just keep that the way it is. Let's just go through some of the amp functions. So we've got high and low inputs, which take gain 1 and gain 2 out of the loop. So let's just try high and low input gains. So this is high. This is low. Straight away, that gives us quite a decent crunch versus high gain thing. Let's have a look at the push gain. So when it's on, we're going to have a drop in output. Kind of like an 8 dB drop, but it gives it a little bit more low end, a bit more fatness to it. So let's take that off just so we've got that kind of unity level. Treble, presence, bass, middle do exactly what you'd imagine them to do. The issue I've got with this particular amp is that if we were to set up a pedal for the pull gain, or let's call it the input, there is a noticeable dropout. Now it actually tells us that that's going to happen, which is quite nice, but realistically we'd want that to not have that dropout so we could use it a bit more effectively. What we would now have to do is have a couple of different instances of that amp block in the preset, and that's not a problem because this unit is such an absolute badass. If we look at the CPU that we're currently using, we're using 36%, but the amp block is taking quite a chunk of that CPU. But we've got room to spare. We've got loads of room, so it's not necessarily a problem to have them on different amp blocks. It's just a little bit. It just takes a little bit more time. Okay, cool. So let's have a little listen to what this hex drive is going to do. So we'll take that out and put the hex drive in. So here's it with the drive in. With the drive out. So with the drive out, the hex drive in. The settings for that are basically set up like a tube screamer would be set up. Now that to me, and this is the thing about Neural, straight out of the bag, I'm into that sound. That would do me. I'd be quite happy with that. Let's have a little listen to what the multi-tracker would do on that. So it's on now. Beefy, just does exactly what it's meant to do. I'm into that a lot. So that sounds great. Let's have a little listen to what that delay is doing and just what it's all about. So that would sound like this. It's a monstrous amount of feedback, so that maybe 24%. So quite a pleasing delay. So instantly, guys, you just, again, what more do you want? It's a bloody great sound and delay. Let's turn that bad boy off. Let's have a little listen to what the reverb's doing. So here's it on. Again, really, really nice. Really nice. Let's try both of them at the same time, do some leads. Uber pleasing, really, really nice. So that is that. Let's see if we can clean that amp up a little bit or just get a little bit crunchier. So what we're going to do is going to go to low input. Straight away, that's going to take it down a bit. really touch sensitive, super great. Man, what a great sounding amp that is. Let's see how much gain we can get out of it. So we're going to do the push gain, we're going to stick it on high input, we're going to crank the drives. So let's just give it full beans. So you can hear that's kicked up a bit, and we'll drive that up to about 5. Sounds bloody great. Okay, so instantly usable tones. Instantly usable. The grind is a slightly different style of crunch pedal. So what the grind does is basically just cleans up really low stuff. So that, without it, is a bit muddy. As you can see, it's just kind of tighten the top end up. Now, if I was to transpose that, maybe down a whole step, that will do for me. So really tightens everything up, and that is basically it. The default presets are super easy. If you wanted to or needed to add any more amplification, what we could do is you could go to your multi-out, you could send it to row 3 instead, make this your multiple output, grab this guy, move him down here, grab all of these, come on, shitheads. Come with me. Right, so basically just getting all of these out of the way. So then what I can do is I can go, do you know what? I've got me a high gain amp there. I'm just going to add another instance of FORTIN nameless suite. And I'm going to add another I'm going to add another FORTIN amp, and I'm going to have the full gain off. I'm going to have the input on low. I'm going to have the gain down a little bit. So now, that's my preset for A. For B, that is going to be my preset. So now when I go to A, I've now completely bypassed that issue I had where I was getting that dropout. How am I doing for the CPU? I'm 49%. I've added 10% by adding a whole new amp. Now I could do that again. I could add another amp and have like a kind of mild crunch or something. So it doesn't really matter that we get these dropouts. Just try not to do it all in one preset. And that is the FORTIN Nameless Suite, guys. It's definitely worth the punt. Plus you get for the 120 odd quid or whatever, you actually get the full plug-in as well. So it's definitely worth it. Anyway, back to me. So there it is, guys. FORTIN Nameless. Absolutely, definitely worth it. Do you know what I mean? Just like I say, that crunch. swim in that lake all day. Then we go to preset B, which is my high gain. Bit muddy, so I'll kick in that FORTIN grind. Oh, makes me cough with delight. So yeah, guys, sorry, end this video, please. FORTIN Nameless Suite, definitely worth the money, absolutely epic. If you have a Quad Cortex, it just adds more sense to get it. The plugin is amazing, and what I'll do is I will eventually do a plugin A/B comparison, because there is just slight differentials, but also the differences, the conversions and the A/Bs and the using. I don't use my Quad Cortex as an audio interface, I go out to XLR, so you're getting digital conversions all the time, so all of it makes a little bit of difference, but I'm more than happy with the sound I'm getting out of the quad, and I'm more than happy with the sound that I'm getting out of the plugin, so it's a no-brainer, really. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. FORTIN Nameless Suite is without a doubt definitely worth a trial and see how you get on with it. I just think it's instantly usable for the style of music that I appreciate. But then again, that crunch sound that we had earlier is beautiful, delicious clean tones on them, like just lovely dynamic sound. And amp sounds very, very real. And you get all of those amazing artist presets by guys who know what they're doing. So it kind of takes the guesswork out of it as well. You don't have to be a patch designing legend to get a great tone out of this unit. So it's definitely worth a punt, I would say. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Who knows what's coming next? There's so much gear that I've missed the boat on. I've got all the Laney FRFR stuff that I want to get into. We've looked at the Captor X. If you go back on last couple of weeks worth of videos, I've started just picking up the slack. If you like what I do here, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. I've kind of been stuck around 20,000 subs now for a number of years. I don't know why. I think that's why the people just don't sub, or I'm an annoying prick. I don't know. But if you don't find me an annoying prick, please subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it really does help me out. That'd be great. I'd be very grateful, and thank you in advance. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys in the next one.